Have you ever wondered how a man of humble beginnings could rise to become one of history's most powerful figures and shape the course of Europe? In the annals of history, few names echo as loudly as Napoleon Bonaparte. Born in Corsica in 1769, Napoleon was not of French lineage, but of Italian, his family having moved to the island only a generation prior. His initial years were far from auspicious, far from the grandeur that his name would one day command. Raised in a family of minor nobility, he was sent to mainland France for education at the age of 9, his parents hoping for a brighter future for their second son. Napoleon's time in France was a period of profound transformation. He was a fish out of water, a Corsican in the heart of France, grappling with a new language, culture, and society. Yet it was here, amidst the hallowed halls of the military academy in Paris, that Napoleon first began to show signs of the leader he would become. His keen intellect, combined with a relentless drive, set him apart from his peers. As fate would have it, the storm of the French Revolution was brewing just as Napoleon was coming of age. It was a time of chaos, a time of change. The monarchy was crumbling, and the republic was rising from its ashes. It was in this tumultuous time that Napoleon, a young artillery officer, began to make his mark. His strategic brilliance shone in the siege of Toulon, where he dislodged the British forces, bringing him recognition and rapid advancement in the military ranks. But this was just the beginning. The ambitious young soldier was not content with merely serving his country. He aspired to lead it. His dreams were grand, his ambitions boundless. From the ashes of the revolution, he saw an opportunity to rise, to shape France in his vision. But how did this young, ambitious soldier rise to become the ruler of France? Let's explore further. The French Revolution, a time of chaos and change, was the perfect setting for a man like Napoleon to rise. The late 18th century was a tumultuous time in France. The monarchy had been overthrown and the country was in the throes of revolution. Amidst this turmoil, a young and ambitious Corsican artillery officer saw an opportunity. His name was Napoleon Bonaparte. Born to humble beginnings, Napoleon's rise to power was nothing short of meteoric. His military prowess quickly caught the eye of the revolutionary government, and in 1796 he was given command of the French army in Italy. His campaigns in Italy were a triumph. Napoleon's strategic genius and leadership skills proved too much for the opposing forces. He swept through northern Italy, securing numerous victories and gaining the respect and admiration of his troops and the French people. Yet Napoleon's ambition knew no bounds. His success in Italy was just the beginning. In 1798, he embarked on an expedition to Egypt, aiming to disrupt British trade routes to India. Though the campaign met with mixed success, it further established Napoleon as a military genius and a force to be reckoned with. On his return to France, Napoleon found a country in disarray. The government was unstable, and the people were yearning for strong leadership. Seizing the moment, Napoleon staged a coup in November of 1799, successfully overthrowing the government. He was then appointed as first consul of France, effectively making him the most powerful man in the country. In just a few years, Napoleon had risen from near obscurity to the pinnacle of power, but he was just getting started. In 1804, Napoleon made a decision that would forever change the course of history. He declared himself emperor. A self-crowned monarch, Napoleon Bonaparte was a man of action, and his reign as emperor was nothing less than extraordinary. It was a time of significant change, of upheaval, and of monumental achievements. Napoleon's reign was marked by an ambitious domestic policy. He introduced the Napoleonic Code, a legal framework that still influences many modern legal systems. He championed the rights of the individual, abolished feudalism, and promoted equality before the law, making strides in the realm of social justice. On top of this, he revolutionized France's educational system, laying the groundwork for a nation of enlightened minds. He established the University of France, the baccalaureate, and reformed secondary education. He believed in the power of knowledge and he made it accessible to all. But Napoleon's reign wasn't just about domestic reform. His foreign policy was equally ambitious. He embarked on a series of military campaigns known as the Napoleonic Wars. From the sun-drenched plains of Egypt to the frosty expanse of Russia, Napoleon's armies marched across Europe, leaving an indelible mark on the continent. The impact of Napoleon's reign extended beyond the borders of France. His military campaigns reshaped the political landscape of Europe. Nations were born, borders were redrawn, and the balance of power shifted dramatically. Yet Napoleon's reign wasn't without controversy. His aggressive expansionist policies, his disregard for the sovereignty of other nations, and his autocratic rule drew criticism. But regardless of these controversies, Napoleon's influence on French society and Europe at large is undeniable. His reign was a time of great change and upheaval, a time of progress and reform. But above all, it was a time of action. Napoleon's reign was a testament to his belief in the power of action, in the power of a single individual to shape history. Napoleon's reign was a time of great change and upheaval, but it was also marked by a number of significant achievements. But as the saying goes, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, and Napoleon was no exception. The year was 1812. Napoleon, at the height of his power, made a fatal decision that would mark the beginning of his downfall. He decided to invade Russia, a move that proved disastrous. The harsh Russian winter, coupled with scorched earth tactics employed by the Russians, decimated Napoleon's Grande Armée. He was forced to retreat with a mere fraction of the men he had started with. In the face of such a defeat, Napoleon's grip on power began to wane. His enemies started to see cracks in his armor, and the coalition of European powers rose once again to challenge him. His losses piled up, and in April of 1814, Napoleon was forced to abdicate the throne. He was exiled to the Mediterranean island of Elba, a mere speck on the map compared to the vast empire he once ruled. Yet Napoleon was not one to be easily dismissed. In a turn of events that would later be known as the 100 Days, he escaped from Elba, returned to France, and reassumed power. It was a brief return to glory, but it was not to last. His final defeat came at the hands of the Duke of Wellington at the Battle of Waterloo in June of 1815. It was a crushing loss, and it marked the end of Napoleon's rule as Emperor of the French. This time there was no escape, no triumphant return. Napoleon was captured and exiled once again. In the end, Napoleon was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena, where he would spend the last years of his life. This lonely rock in the middle of the South Atlantic was to be his final home, a far cry from the splendor of the French court. Here he would ponder his rise and fall, his victories and defeats, until his death in 1821. Though his reign had ended, Napoleon's impact on history was far from over. His legacy, much like the man himself, is a rich tapestry of triumphs and failures, of grand dreams and grander ambitions. Napoleon's influence on military strategy cannot be overstated. He revolutionized warfare with his use of mass conscription, creating armies of unprecedented size. His tactical genius shone in his ability to mobilize these large forces rapidly and effectively, changing the face of battles forever. But Napoleon's legacy extends beyond the battlefield. His Napoleonic Code, a civil law system, has had a profound influence on legal systems across the globe. This code emphasized clearly written and accessible law, and its principles are still in use today in many countries, including parts of Europe and Latin America. In politics, his impact is equally significant. Napoleon's rule marked the transition from the old order of monarchies to modern political structures. He introduced the concept of meritocracy, promoting individuals based on their skills and abilities rather than their birth. This radical idea has been a cornerstone of many modern societies. And then there's Napoleon, the cultural icon. From paintings to novels, from films to video games, Napoleon continues to captivate our imagination. He is both a symbol of ambition and a cautionary tale of hubris. His story serves as a reminder of the heights that humans can reach and the depths to which they can fall. Napoleon's legacy is a complex one. It is a mixture of progress and regression, of enlightenment and tyranny. But there's no denying that his influence is deeply woven into the fabric of our world. So, as we reflect on the life of Napoleon, we can see that his story is not just one of power and ambition, but also one of profound influence and enduring legacy.